Good day, Tamers. Boundless stuff. Kind of cool, right? And I'm going to be honest, I saw some of these coming. We wanted some of these to come. There's one of these that we really wanted to happen that we were kind of surprised by still. And there's a couple of cards here that weren't touched. I think people kind of like, maybe they should be. But I'm really quite happy with what they've done to this list. It does push forward the agenda that they actually do care about the game itself. There's obviously people in the community that are currently complaining that the devs aren't playing properly. They're making these sets to make money. Well, obviously they are because it's a company, you idiot. And at the same time, like, you have to remember they're new to this part of the game. I don't know where they came from originally. They've introduced EX4, they've done BT14, 15, 16, EX5, and now EX6 Wingsuit and BT17. You've also got to remember, like, if you're not in the card game from the start and you haven't been here at all times, there are going to be some cards that you don't go, is there a card that does this? Okay, that's fine then. And then you find out actually there's 5 cards that does that, and then you're in a lot of trouble. But let's quit complaining about people for now, and let's go for the ban list. You may notice my voice is disappearing. Welcome to winter in the UK. So, we have this now to the 1st of March. So it's not as though it's a case of like you can't play it tomorrow. You can still play this basically until Worlds. Or like the first like proper regional season of 2024. But Bughamon, he's gone. As someone who's been absolutely abused by this character, I'm happy that he's getting his ass kicked and getting out of here. Because he's just stupid in certain decks. Which is basically any deck that can go, I'm going to source strip you. And then they just jam you into non-existent. Because 9 times out of 10, if they're going to be able to source strip you, you're playing a combo deck or a towers deck. Which means that you ain't running any option cards to explode them in the insecurity. And then when they can't strip sources off you, you're generally going against security control, which means, swinging security, idiot. That's what happens to you. But jamming on a baby, I think a lot of people, when they first saw this originally, were kind of mind blown how good this is, because it's such a good card. And now it's just going to go. And it kind of deserves to just go, because having jamming on a baby is really, really too good. At least with Kuyamon from BT13, you have to do something to get the jamming. This is just have more sources than your opponent. That's not necessarily hard in this game. And then we have Mr. Apoclymon. Although they do go here, because this card grants jamming by filling an easy condition, which it is, it offers greater consistency than other blue Digi-Eggs. I mean, the only one you really run, if you're not running like a Vmon deck, is like Wanyamon, and he's pretty. You got Blue Tamer, you draw a card. Cards that are more specified for decks, blue decks playstyles. As a result, there is little reason for blue decks to use any other card other than this. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to 1 card per deck. To be fair, just jamming and having basically the Gomon engine just to go, alright, strip sources. Joe, strip some sources. I'm going to pick the source I want to strip as well. It's very annoying. Apoclymon. This goddamn son of a gun. Bye-bye value. I mean, let's just be honest here. A lot of people complain about this because, and it's the people who are like Digimon market bros who are just complaining like, oh, my box values, oh, they're all gone. Now, for those of you who are store owners, understand, like, basically you've just seen all your money from this set just disappear. The thing that most people want to pick up because they can't play the game, they want to basically watch you not play the game either. And this is the situation we're in. Well, guess what, guys? You have to actually play the game now. No, I heard it's really hard for you to actually physically sit down and use this up here to play a card game. But watching your opponent not be able to play the game is not playing a card game. Like, we need to remember this, guys. This isn't Magic the Gathering. This is Digimon. Magic the Gathering is how much can I upset my opponent continuously by playing blue cards. Digimon should be about how much can I actually play a game against my opponent and see who's the better player. You just get into this first, I'll make you the better player. But let's see what the reason for why this is gone. If you can send cards with the Dark Master traits to the trash even once, this card can be played many times easily and for a low cost depending on the number of copies. Which combined with the cards such as the BT13 Craniumon makes it extremely difficult to deal with. In addition, there is no cost to activate the deck's trashing effect, and the number of cards trashed at a time is considerable, making it difficult to deal with for decks that cannot utilize the trash. So this card limits the number of deck types that can compete in the environment. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck. Also, I wish you could actually click on these so I can show you the card text. The few decks that can currently use the trash effectively absolutely get murdered by this deck because you essentially trash them too quickly. They're like, okay, I haven't got pieces. I can't. My stack's not working. I can't get here, there, and everywhere. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you deck down because you're a purple deck that wants to deck out. All your effects make you deck out, so you deck out quicker. So this is kind of a bit, huh? But I understand that basically he's saying that essentially, if you're a purple deck, it's not necessarily the end of the world. But if you're specifically a deck that wants to have trash, it could be the end of the world. Gabumon X Antibody. I think a lot of people are kind of on the fence if this was a good hit or not, because it's a little bit better than Agumon X Antibody, but it's not egregiously better. But I think it's mostly because of this effect here. And for those who don't know, it's when this Digimon with Gurumon or Omnimon in its name would be deleted by battle by returning 2 non-Digi egg cards from your trash to the bottom of the deck. Prevent this deletion. Pretty good in a purple deck where you're just trashing cards constantly. In a Gurumon deck, this card offers both high consistency and speed than other cards. In addition, this card's inherited effect grants a protection effect that makes it difficult for the opponent to respond from the beginning of the game. As a result, there is little reason to use other cards. Because the importance of this one card is so great, for the above reason, we've decided to restrict this card to 1 copy per deck. I'm okay with this because it does limit the ability to just be absolutely crazy. We still have access to the other X antibodies, so you're not really losing searching power too much so. And I don't really mind when they limit cards that have other cards that can take its place and still basically be fairly competitively good. And I understand why. Like, this is a very effective... Like, if this wasn't here and it was just on Gurumon X antibody, I think it'd be a lot finer. Especially if this was just like a generic X antibody. Although I do think that X antibody BT11 Agumon has the same effect. Not like this effect, but the same effect as the Geogreymon. The Greymon X antibody from BT11. Gurumon X, he's such a good boy. This card alone allows altering one's hand to a great degree, and it offers greater consistency than is reasonable for decks that can use it. In addition, this card can be used by not only Gurumon decks, but also decks that utilize the trash. As a result, there is little reason to use other cards. Because the importance of this one card is so great, for the above reasons, we've decided to restrict this card to 1 copy per deck. Again, because this is very much to me very similar to how the BT11 Greymon X antibody works, I can understand, like, from their point of view, like, let's limit the cards that have very similar effects. Obviously, they're very, very potent, very effective. And this kind of was a card a lot of people were thinking would be hit rather than needs to be hit, because I think a lot of people are too busy watching what Apocalypmon's doing rather than the 2 decks underneath it. But again, same as this, like, we do have access to other things that can stop you from getting, like, instantly exploded. The deck itself runs very consistently anyway. It's not necessarily the worst thing to lose out on, but obviously it's just annoying that we keep getting these new tools that are a little bit either too strong or too consistently overpowered, or just better than any other option, and that they are going to be taken away. A lot of people are saying that they need to make it so maybe some restrictions are a case of, like, you can run 4 of these but only in a Gurumon deck, and that's fine, but then you have to sort of figure out, like, what considers a Gurumon deck. So, yeah, that's probably going to happen for a while. But we hardly knew you. And I look forward to not getting my ass beaten by you, by my wife, for the next 6 years. Hey, it's Newest the newer Newest Mon. This card has a high board retention and control due to its continuous play and removal effects, which greatly improves the consistency and speed of the deck when combined with several other existing cards. There are very few other decks that can handle this speed, and currently this card reduces the space for choosing other decks. Themes with similar board expansion effects, limiting the diversity of decks you can use. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to 1 per deck. So this essentially just enables Merva, kind of like how Cross Arts did at the beginning of the year. Kind of to me, and I think a lot of people said the same thing, is they'd like it if they would have just hit Merva instead, because if you hit Merva, you kind of take away how powerful this engine is. it's still a very powerful engine. It can still do a lot of other things. For instance, when Digivolving main once per turn, you may trash up to 3 cards in your hand, then play 1 purple Digimon card from your trash with the play cost reduced by 3. Each card trashed with this effect reduces cost by 1 further. Then you get Minerva for the cost of, what is it, 12 cost? So you get Era for 6. And then your turn, when an effect plays one of your Digimon, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or low Digimon. The effect, if the effect isn't delete, draw 1. So then Minerva plays out cards anyway, so it just basically just goes, in the sense of board presence, Russian dolls. But we hardly knew ye, Anubismon. Thanks for being here. And a lot of people are very upset now because purple is being hit once again. And to be fair, the issue with purple is you have to make purple do these things where they're trashing a lot of cards and they're having to mill a lot of cards to make the decks work. And the issue is obviously there's other decks that now go, ooh, I like that. And the issue you have then is, ooh, other decks want to do that. And then you turn into an engine as opposed to being your own deck. As someone who enjoys playing purple cards, not necessarily because they're broken or anything like that, because the mechanics of milling yourself and trashing cards is quite fun in any card game. It is one of those weird things where once you have like a deck that can just basically go, all right, put my deck into trash, now I'm invincible. It does take a lot to just essentially go, well, where do we go from here? And that's the problem. It's not so much where do we go from here. It's like, okay, if every other deck can just use its engine and just use the top end of the deck they want to use, every deck's the same then. But we also had today producer letter number 1, which is odd. That this is the first one we got. I don't think Japan's had one before this. I think it's also the first one for Japan. They had theirs printed out this morning when the ban list dropped. So it's really nice of them that they've actually translated over to us because Google Translate was really weird. But let's go over the producer letter volume 1. Greetings to all tamers around the world who enjoy playing the Digimon card game. We'd like to start this letter talking about the upcoming releases of EX5 and BT15 in English and then explain further about the recent additions of cards to the restricted list. Theme Booster Animal Coliseum EX5 will finally be released for sale January 19th. It's a Friday. The popular 4 sovereigns are included as ace cards. The Davers, which serve the 4 sovereigns, also made their debut. Most of them made their debut because we've had a few already. I think we've had like 4 or 5 already. 3 types of box toppers included with the limited card set volume 2, 3rd anniversary update pack, and Animal Coliseum promo pack. 1 pack of each is included. A lot of people complain about this as well because it's like 1 promo per pack, and it's like there's some actual good promos in this set, and obviously it's possibly going to be a case of like the BT14 stuff all over again. EX5 also has 1 security card type that is exclusive to the English version. This card features an illustration created especially by an illustrator from Massage Japan. I can't remember the chap's name. He designs the Transformer comic book, and that's where the cool-ish. I think it's nice. I prefer the Hyper Coliseum version, but I can see why people like the idea of having this like cool, very stance-driven Metal Grumman. Booster Exceed Apocalypse BT15 will be released for sale on February 16th. Hey, it's Friday. It was Friday. Tamers and Digimon from the Digimon Adventure anime, not included in BT14. Oh, here, yes, these are 4 kids. Those guys. Pokemon receives its first Digimon card. There will also be a rare low rate pull card with an alt illustration, which is the Hyper Coliseum one over here. And then 20 new text cards from the limited pack Digimon Ghost game LMO1. The Japanese tournament and premium Bandai exclusives are included. There's a video somewhere on the channel from a while back. I can't link to things here because I need more subscribers. Yeah, I think I have to be a partner before I can do things like that. But if you go back like a couple of months ago, it'll be in there and it'll just show you all the things we got. Some of the alt arts that we got from that set as well are actually part of the final regional packaging that we got. That was really cool. Right, revisions are to the restricted cards list. Due to the unique circumstances, this time we would like to also to directly explain the ban restriction revisions announced today, December 18th, Monday. First, please note that our aim is to keep the gameplay environment healthy and facilitate a diverse competitive metagame. Big words, especially this late at night. Regarding the decision to ban or restrict cards from the unreleased English version products EX5 and BT15, please understand we gave it a lot of consideration. We decided it was best choice after carefully considering the degree to which it affected the tournament situation in Japan, and our goal is to aim for a healthy environment for players worldwide. For those of you who don't care about Japan, in terms of like the game, and you don't look forwards to things, which is fine. Like down to you. Like no one's having to go. It wasn't tier 0, but Apocalypse was like running a lot of the show. To be fair, like I feel like every time I saw like, oh, this tournament was won this week, you'd see like 50 bloody Apocalypse moms and like two like random like people go like, oh yeah, played something that had Merciful mode and it just somehow won me the game. It's like, yeah, look, great way to play card games. It's just pure luck only. BT14 Pokemon restricted to 1. EX5 Gabmon X antibody restricted to 1. EX5 Garurumon X antibody restricted to 1. Greatly stabilizing the movement of decks that use them, decreases the diversity of cards used and narrowing the current situation to enjoying Digimon card game, which is the element of being able to play with decks of many concepts. Especially for EX5 Gabmon X antibody and EX5 Garurumon X antibody. In addition to increasing stability, they dramatically strengthen the power of decks that utilize the trash. The purple things. EX5 Anubismon restricted to 1, and BT15 Apocalypsemon restricted to 1. Anubismon can continue to utilize the trash unless directly interfered with, allowing for the repeated appearances of powerful purple Digimon. This makes it highly effective in maintaining its efforts in the battle area, making it a powerful and challenging to handle card. BT15 Apocalypsemon is a difficult card to counter, as it will repeatedly be placed at a low cost when multiple types of the card with Dark Master traits are in the trash. Moreover, if you cannot remove the first instance of this card that has been played, another BT15 Apocalypsemon will easily be played, creating no way to stop consecutive trashings of cards from the deck, and total amount of cards trashed from the deck must be restrained. From a comprehensive perspective, it was necessary to limit the frequency of this card's appearance. Since EX5, Anubismon, and Apocalypsemon are both high rarity cards, we had many discussions about how to handle the situation. However, in the end, when considering the possibility that these two cards could be further strengthened with the inclusion of new cards with the Dark Master traits in the future, and which would lead to the need to improve the environment by designing other cards as restricted ban cards, we decided to directly restrict to 1, only these 2 cards. Most of the cards specified as restricted cards at this time are cards that utilize the trash, so there has also been an increase in decks that frequently use the trash. In addition to the above reasons, the complexity of movements also increased due to the need to confirm all locations. This might raise the hurdle for those who say, I want to try the Digimon card game, and make the game seem difficult to new users. To ensure that everyone can enjoy the Digimon card game with peace of mind, we say it was necessary to signify restricted these types of cards. For those reasons, we choose to revise the ban list and restrict list of these 5 cards added. Regardless of this revision, we sincerely apologise for causing concerns by designing many cards as ban restricted at once, and that this decision comes before the release of those played in the English version. We would also like to apologise to our development team. Inaccurately estimating the effect of these cards will lead to a short span between releases and banning restrictions. Of course, we integrate products that will not require adjustments for our ban restricted, and thank you for understanding when such actions is necessary to provide a better game environmentally, as we hope that you will also kindly understand that for the cards judged to have a strong impact on the environment, there may be additions to the list of ban restricted cards regardless of release or reprint timing. Thank you for your understanding, the Digimon card team. And that's the thing. Like, it's not so much about the whole like, oh yeah, we spent like 5-6 like hours only on like R&D. It is a case of essentially like, you have to also make cards that people want to pick up and buy. You're not necessarily power creeping things, but you're also making things better. And then Apocalypse One was just his own thing, where it's a case of like, we just wanted to make this cool boss monster because obviously he's a cool boss monster, and he was a bit too cool and a boss monster. Whereas like the purple stuff for Garurumon, it's just a case of like, oh, it's a purple deck, it wants to trash things, and its effect says, if you get murdered, you can put 2 things back from your trash into your deck, and now you're okay. And that's the thing there. I do think it is a very powerful effect, especially because you can just have either the Gabu X or the Guru X in the stack, and it's just the same thing. So I do think people should, not necessarily go after them with pitchforks and fire, but definitely have a look at it as well as thinking like, okay, I understand, like, you need to try and make cards that are better and cooler, but yeah, we do need to look at the card game and go, we need to slow it down. We need to start making things, edgy, less edgy, more round. But yeah, really happy with this. I'm quite surprised that so cards that keep people saying like Cool Boy's not banned yet. It's like Cool Boy hasn't done anything for a while. Give it time because we've got all the new X antibody cards coming out soon. Cool Boy is going to come back again, start clapping cheeks. Why didn't Youth get kicked around? Youth is very weird because Youth is not a purple card, but he's like the best non-purple card ever because he does basically what they complained about. I can see him going on the list in the future just because of what's happened here. But the issue you've got is if they got rid of all these trashers and then they also got rid of Analog Youth, you've just killed like 7 decks in one list. Luger dies, Deva dies, Guru is kind of dead, Guru engine decks are kind of dead, Anubis just died, Dark Master's technically just died. Was that 6 decks? And that's the problem. When you build cards that have to incorporate if you build decks that have to incorporate older cards in to make the decks better, but you then have to ban or restrict that one card, if there's nothing to replace that card that just got lost, the deck will most of the time just fall over. And that is the issue they need to start looking at. Like, I will always say this, I have no issue with Impmon from EX2 being limited. The issue I do have, though, is you limited one of the searches for the deck, which makes searching things like that deck a little bit harder, because the only other search you have that's for types is Iron Mako. Now, obviously, we have the in trainings now, which isn't so bad, but when that card was limited for us, we didn't have access to those cards. So for 6 months, you had a harder time just trying to get stuff out of the trash. To be fair, though, if you looked at some of the better players with the Beelzebub deck, that deck can do a lot of things. But as my voice is finally disappearing, I'll have to say goodnight, Tamers. Hopefully this has been educational for you. And we'll see you guys soon. Hopefully some more fun here on the channel. Mwah! Ciao for now, Tamers. Peace.